with me starting like almost a decade ago, they were really, really ruthless. Like if you did not answer the phone with Yemaseyo, like the native Korean language, they would literally hang up on you.
The myth is she just stalling so she could charge you. No, I'm trying to keep your hair on your head.
If I have to turn my head like this to read your packaging, I'm not gonna buy it.
When you come in, stop coming in and telling us how much to sell our stuff for.
Everyone says their hair is 4C because they're affiliated with difficulty.
The U.S. has terrible regulations for cosmetics. Black women historically have these issues with fibroids and uterine problems, and we're trusting you, and now you're putting chemicals in it?
We decided to create a show that would give consumers that behind the scenes of what Black-owned beauty supply store owners go through, what Black-owned brands, Black-owned salons go through, to have a conversation with experts in the field, helping Black entrepreneurs break into the beauty supply industry. Let's jump into the world of Black hair care. I am your host, Janice Fredericks-Spell, the retail genius, and I'm here with Vernice and Gabby. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you for having
us.
All right, so let's talk about the natural hair care movement. So I remember when I was getting started in beauty supply, there was this entire movement of Black women doing the big chop, going natural, transitioning. So tell me, do you guys still see this movement going on today?
Absolutely.
Oh, definitely, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's here to stay pretty much. The idea of going back to relaxers, I feel for a lot of people is kind of, it's not gonna happen. Now you do have some folks that are like transitioning back because they haven't figured out their hair or they haven't found someone who can care for it like they want to. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, it's pretty much here to stay.
Are you seeing the same thing, Vernice?
Yes, the industry is going to continue to grow because there's so many areas within the natural hair industry that has not even been tapped in. My industry's lock focus is so many layers just to starting locks, maintaining locks, products for locks. And then when you want to break down each texture, someone that may have 3A versus 4C, there's still a wide opportunity for 4C or more coily, kinky texture hair when it comes to products and styles and just the education, that part of the industry can still advance and grow as well.
So what is one of the biggest misconceptions that you guys see in transitioning into natural hair care? Because I know for me in beauty supply, we had to do a lot of educating on the product side, but for you guys, what do you see?
They think it's an automatic ticket to long hair.
Ooh.
It's an automatic ticket to long hair. It's like, oh, I'm just gonna let this grow out.
Natural,
if I just braid it down, but I won't moisturize it, I won't do anything to it. Just let it sit because dirt grows hair for some strange reason.
Yeah, dirty hair grows.
Yeah, like we're fertilizer or plants or something, you know. But that is one of the two of the biggest misconceptions I see, that it's an automatic ticket, and that everybody can do it. Like, oh, you know, this is our hair. It's easy because I saw this girl on YouTube doing it, so I can do it too.
And the fact that you can just, when you're transitioning, I haven't had a relaxer for a month, they automatically assume that they are natural. Not knowing that it is a whole process. Is every quarter your hair is going to do something different. Your texture is going to change every 3 months. By the time from the day you start, day one versus that last 365 day of the year, your texture is going to be different, completely different. You're going to go through so many products. So I would say just the fact that no, if you don't get a relaxer today, that does not mean that you're natural. There's still a whole process. There's still layers of relaxer that your hair is still growing through, that's changing your texture.
And I mean, realistically, hair only grows a half an inch every month. Mm-hmm. So if you think tomorrow, next month, you're gonna be completely natural, you're not.
And I think the other misconception is that you have to do a big chop, but
yes.
you talked about the process. So if you can tell our viewers a little bit more about what that process could potentially look like besides getting a big chop.
So I've had clients grow out their hair for 3 to 4 years before they chopped it off. And it was actually per my recommendation, and the reason being is because our hair doesn't bounce back in a straight line. It zigzags and all that. But if you have relaxed ends, it keeps it straight. It keeps the ends straight so they don't coil on themselves, right? So I usually recommend, you know, do protective styles, treat it until you're ready to cut the rest of it off if you don't want to just big chop, because not only is it easier, but you retain more length that way.
Awesome. And what about you, Vernice?
So the same, if you're choosing not to do a big chop, the other alternative is to grow your relaxer out, but you still have to cut your hair. So what I tell clients that you're not cutting it all today, but over the time you are. The same hair that we would just cut off today at that demarcation line is the same hair that you're cutting off at a slower pace. Some people feel that if they just grow their hair out, they're natural, not realizing that the ends, you still have relaxed hair. So at some point you do have to, you're going to be cutting your hair, whether you're trimming it off or just doing your complete big chop.
Got you. I think for me, the misconception was not that I was going to get like long hair, but I was going to get a certain texture.
Yeah.
And I was really disappointed.
Join the club.
So how do you guys feel about that when people are coming to you because they have an expectation of maybe a certain curl pattern and that may not be?
Well, I've kind of taught my clients to love the hair that you have because there is this weird expectation that everybody has the same hair or my hair is going to look like this. When the reality is most of us started getting relaxers pretty young. So most of us don't even remember what our hair looked like prior to the relaxer, So like I had one client come to me and her hair was super kinky and she was like, I want my hair to look like this. It was my hair. It was a picture of me. And I said, no. It's not happening. Because we have two totally different textures of hair and everyone has different textures in the same head, right? So I think it's about educating the client and, some of them obviously you have to let down and like, hey, some bad news for you.
Let's talk about that a little bit more because you said you educate your customers about just loving their hair. That can't be a simple thing to do with someone who has that expectation already in their head.
I think it's if they trust you, because obviously, and I'm sure you've experienced this too, Vernice, if someone's coming in there, they've already researched you, so they pretty much are ready to accept just about anything that you say, right? So instead of focusing on what we can't do, I focus on what we can do. I show them pictures, I show them videos, I'm like your hair can do this, but it can't do this, and that's fine, but let's focus on this. Let's focus on growing it out. Okay, you're not happy with where it is, let's do a protective style and keep treating it until we can get it where, it needs to be. I also tell them, there is no rule that says just because you're natural, you can't wear straight hair. Like I have straight hair natural clients. It's okay. Like, no one's going to ridicule you. There's nothing to prove. You're not more natural if you don't wear your hair straight. It's okay. So I think it's like gauging it, right? Because my clients that I have recommended they go wear their hair straight, they're like, oh my God, I should have been did this. Because there are some kind of these unwritten rules, unspoken rules about what's considered to be natural and what's not.
So I want to talk a little bit about these rules or unwritten rules, if you can elaborate for our viewers who may not know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so the color. I think, honestly, I feel like at one point, locks kind of fell in that a little because it was like at the beginning, because it was like, if you're like, your hair is natural, but it ain't like my natural, you got, your hair is locked, that's different. So I think these rules kind of came through like different forums and stuff that I used to be on.
They're from generation. They're passed down. They're passed down from our grandmother, our great grandmother, then our mother, and then our daughters are telling their baby dolls. So a lot of the rules also come from generational rules. Don't scratch before you get your relaxer.
That's one of them.
When you go into the pool, because of chlorine, you can't get a relaxer if you swimming.
Oh yeah, you can't get a relaxer before you go swimming. Before you get a relaxer.
So there's rules that's been created by our ancestors that's just been passed down generation to generation, and then we put our own perception onto it, and then then we go on social media, and then it's a whole worldwide rule that that's coming from a consumer perspective, a client perspective, versus the rules that we speak or that we have as professionals. So those is two different rules as well. Because you're going to have some stylists that say that they won't do color services on pregnant women. Not to say they can't get color, but you have some that just won't do any color on pregnant women. And that could be a rule. That could be a category of a rule as well.
Unspoken rule.
So what are some of the other like misconceptions with actually caring for your natural hair care?
Oh, you don't have to do anything. You go natural, you don't have to do anything to your hair.
You don't have to trim it. You barely have to wash it.
Tie
No
it
protein
down.
treatments. Nothing. It's just a free for all around here, and you're gonna be okay.
Or you're gonna put this product in your hair and it's gonna stay curly like that. That's all you have to do is just put this product in there.
Your hairstyle should last a month, no matter what.
Right.
That's another myth, because like there is maintenance there, just like with anything. There's maintenance there. People don't expect their hair, like they don't factor in the weather. So one of the things that I talk about is like, okay, if you come in my salon, depending on the style you get, you might walk out looking a little childish, but that's on purpose. Because I need you to respect the weather. I need the weather. The weather is going to give you the big hair that you're looking for. If I do it now, you're going to be upset that it didn't last you as long as you wanted it to, right? So it's like by day 5, day 6, you got the hair that you were looking for. So people, when they see, like, let's say you take a picture of somebody and it's day 5, day 6 hair, right? They want to come in and have their hair today. But the reality is you came in here for longevity. Because if you can what's the point of you coming in here if you feel like you can do this at home?
Right.
And you're not getting the longevity that you're looking for out of the salon.
So talking about big hair and texture, what are some of the misconceptions around texture? And do you feel like in today's era that people have a good grasp on what their natural texture is?
No.
Still no.
No. Everyone says their hair is 4C because they're affiliated with difficulty.
Or being nappy.
Yeah. They don't know what they're doing, so it's nappy.
I have
or
4C.
it's 4C, right? Have some of the loosest hair I've ever seen in my life, but you 4C. Okay,
4C.
cool. But it's a mindset, right? Like, I don't know how to do my hair. This is hard for me, but it's like, but you're not a hairstylist,
Right?
Because Black people aren't born with knowing how to do hair. That's not a thing. Even though
People think it's a thing though.
Right, they think
just
it's
like
right.
they think
Right.
we all play football and basketball, all of us athletic.
We all
It's the
know how to
same
grade.
thing,
Right.
So I think that's where a lot of the misconception comes, that it's this idea that it's supposed to be easy. So I think that's harmful, honestly, because a lot of people have this idea and then they run with it and they're disappointed when it doesn't happen how they want it to. Yeah.
So what would you tell our viewers about actually caring for their hair? How should they go about doing that?
They need to have a consistent regimen. So whether they are caring or maintaining their hair at home or with a professional, is going to be the consistency that gives the results, as well as being more educated on your hair, not on this person's hair or that person you see online or on TV, their texture, no, on your hair. Because like Gabby said, you can have 3 or 4 different textures in your hair. So understanding, okay, well, the perimeter of my hair or the nape or the crown area is a different texture, which means I have to do a different technique for my twist out. I have to twist this way, twist this other side another way, use this product on this part of my hair because it's more 4C, or use a lighter product on another part because it's a looser curl pattern.
All right, just to piggyback off what Vernice said, I feel as though a lot of the hair care can be overwhelming, right, if you're not used to it. So bare minimum, what I put on the internet when I'm educating people, I'm like, bare minimum, get a haircut, get a protein treatment, and get a moisturizer. Call it a day. Just start there, right? Because those are simple things that you can do where you don't get overwhelmed with trying to create this entire regimen, trying to spend all this money on all of these different products and stuff.
Thank you, ladies, for coming on and sharing the information. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.
The Convo, your home for conversations on Black entrepreneurship and wealth, available on your favorite platforms.